So basically, I want to start from these topics. I want to talk about myself, just a couple of uh, details, and then I want to go through what we did in our country, how it happened. So, hello, my name is Alex. I was born in 80s. I'm a delivery manager in an IT company. I was a sales guy. I have a chemical engineering diploma. I play video games. I'm playing World of Warcraft. I'm husband, owner of two cats, and I live in a beautiful small city in 10 kilometers from Kiev. So basically, I'm quite safe. I'm lucky because I have water, I have electricity, I have heating, I have what to eat, I have what to drink, and the only stress is to hearing the sounds of our Ukrainian artillery, what we are, how they hit these guys, and everything is fine with me. But however, I see everything and I know everything thanks to our internal communication inside of Ukraine. So, we are here to discuss this topic. So, Russian invasion in 2022, how it happened, how it started, how it happened, and what is the idea of, what is the purpose of this invasion, and how it appeared through centuries. For now, you probably know Russia attacks us in four main directions. So, Kiev, Kharkiv, south of Ukraine, and Donbas. The initial idea of Russia was to finish this operation quickly, put a puppet government, and let's say to do the same they did with Belarus. So basically, to make it a part of Russia. What happens later, there is serious resistance of army, civilians. We try to defend our big cities, and they still haven't conquered any big city, any, as we call it, region center. And of course, you probably saw that this conflict has absolute support of every people in our country. You saw a lot of footages, you saw a lot of photos. I don't want to focus on this. I want to go further. So, a very important thing for me is to explain the aggression of Ukrainians. Maybe you saw a lot of messages of regular Ukrainians, they call Russians to die, etc. I want to emphasize this. It's very important for me. It's mental shock, uncontrollable emotions, and low tolerance to people that sabotage the war. Yeah, so we try to help everybody. So I personally started to organize shelter in our basement. I helped people to bring their goods there. I help our army. I'm collecting food, water, clauses for them, for our territorial defense, etc. So we work together, and every single person that is outside of this movement should be careful and should just ask for help. There is no, I don't know, a too big aggression, because sometimes Russian propaganda tells that we are just crazy. So let me start from history of our country. For some people, Ukraine isn't, let's say, something they take care of, and it's fine. So basically, our kind of first attempts to create state happened at the beginning of 10th century. So it was kind of the first golden century of Slavic tribes and Slavic people here. So it was Kievan Rus, and you can again Google more about how it was originated, what people created, about Prince Olga, Prince Vladimir, etc. It's for those who like history. So basically, we were a huge country, feudal country, of course, with tight relationships with Europe. A lot of daughters and sons of princes were married with, let's say, princes and princesses from Europe. And again, it's fact. Why it disappeared? First of all, because of feudalism. For those who know history, it's very specific situation, and borders, countries changed a lot, and Europe is not an exclusion. It was very volatile period in the history of people. However, the main factor is the invasion of Mongols. That was the first huge invasion of Eastern barbarians that we had in Ukraine. Yes, of course, people in that time weren't called Ukrainian, but they, let's say, they faced the first time this. After Kievan Rus, after its dismissal, almost all the time for next 7 centuries, we were occupied by someone. So at the beginning, let's say in 14th century, in 15th century, in 16th century, we were a part of Lithuania and Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. I cannot say it was good for us because in every history there is some controversial short moments, but it's in history. After this, in 16th century and up to 18th century, we were divided between Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and Moscovia and then Russia. Because just for your understanding, Russia not always was Russia. They started as a Moscovian princedom. And then after Polish PLC were divided by Austria, by Prussia, by Russia, most of our territory was under the, let's say, occupation of Russia. We had a very interesting period in 17th century. You can check about Cossack state, but I don't think we need to talk about this right now. So later we were a part of Russian Empire for a long time. In Then we start the history of 20th century, and basically we talk about our presence, the first, let's say, civilized state of Ukraine, named Ukraine People Republic. If you know the history of the 20th century, you know that there was the First World War, and then was the change of government in Russia. They became USSR. And we tried to build our own state. Unfortunately, it failed, and we became a part of USSR as Ukrainian Socialistic Soviet Republic. One important thing you need to know about Russian propaganda, yes, they tell that they gave us Crimea, but initially a part of Ukraine was Kuban. It's a huge region in Russia where right now there are a lot of people that were born as Ukrainians. I mean, some time ago, of course, but they were Ukrainians. They were Cossacks. In 1954, the leader of USSR, Khrushchev, made some kind of exchange because Crimea is a very difficult region to live in. It depends highly on water, and we built this channel that Russian propaganda tells a lot that we don't give water to Crimea. However, the exchange was done. And basically, we received our right the modern borders. So basically, as you can see in this map, yes, by dark green we can see current territory, and light green is for territories that are under Russia right now. So in 1991, USSR, thanks God, disappeared. Yes, it dissolved in 15th country, and we became Ukraine. We are maybe right now not, I'm not sure. However, we were the biggest country in Europe by territory. We had 52 million population, and it decreased because of migration mostly to 46 in 2014. And our country is difficult because of multiple attempts of Russian Tsardom, because of Soviet Union policy for Russification. A lot of people in Ukraine talk Russian. They feel themselves like Russian, yes, and maybe you know the phrase Russian world. And this term is used by Russia to say to aggressively move towards their territories because they protect their people. And we will talk about this a little bit when we talk about conflict on Donbas. So basically, we had outdated industry that was tight connected to Russia. But first of all, Ukraine became a democratic country because we had six elected presidents. We didn't have any internal war conflicts, but two Maidans, or we call it Maidans. And I will tell you about at least the second one. Maidan 2013-2014. Here you can see the building in the center of Kiev that was burned by who knows. It was a difficult time. Someone says that was police or Protestants. Just for understanding, my wife works in this building, and right now it's of course rebuilt. Um, what was the origin of this Maidan? Yes, for the last couple of years, pro-Russian President Yanukovych was, I don't know how to say it, he was, I don't know, he was waving between Europe Union and Russia to receive money, keep his regime, etc. And at the end of 2013, he refused to sign the agreement with Europe Union because of requirements to reforms. Our students started demonstration that was brutally dispersed by spec ops, and our people didn't stand home. A huge demonstration up to 50, 60,000 was established in Kiev. People stayed there for months. We didn't give a chance to police to disperse this presentation. We stayed there, and it's kind of the whole country was peaceful. Well, this place is the reminder that we always fight for our choice. So there was national peaceful protests, and this event was displayed in Russia at the rebellion of nationalists, Nazis, its aggression, United States, everything is paid by Europe, so it's not people, it's something absolutely unnatural. Crimea occupation 2014. It's a very interesting time because, as you probably know, Ukrainian army, or you don't know, Ukrainian army was drained of blood because of corruption. This is a separate thing to discuss, but let's talk about Crimea. So, Russian propaganda used Maidan to frighten people in Donbass, Lugansk, Crimea that there are Nazi and they're going to crush people that don't want to, I know, to change something in their country. They will kill them because of language, and that's why Russia intervened. They sent, as they call them, polite people to block Ukrainian army. There were a couple of army. Oh my God, a couple of points here where people were. So, fake referendum, Krimnash, local people were happy, they will have Russian pensions, everything would be okay. A lot of people that came to Crimea only in 50s of 20th century said this is their land, not Ukrainian, and I'd like to specify that Crimea had special autonomy inside of Ukraine. They had own government. We protected local Crimean Tatars or Kirimli, so it's just nonsense. Another thing that started in this time, it's Donbas conflict. So it's even now it's a very difficult, I know, period think event because it's a hybrid war, the worst one. So basically, a lot of Russian propaganda helped to build some kind of resistance inside of a couple of cities, but of course with non-public use of hide and polite people. Capture of administrative buildings and massive betrayal by members of the Regent Party. It's the party of previous President Yanukovych. All women were captured or digged from mines. It's another it's another lie shared by Russian propaganda because there was no so much weapon. And right now, when you talk to Russian people, to regular people, you ask, you still think that Russia didn't send weapons there? And they start to agree, yes, we sent, but you killed people, etc. So, what Russia did during this internal conflict, as I said, first of all, they said there is no Russian troops and weapons, and it's fake. I'm not trying to convince you. We can discuss it later personally. I can provide you a lot of information. However, it's your choice to believe me or not. I'm just trying to tell you from a position of Ukrainian, of a Nazi Ukrainian, as Russia said. Use of Russia reactive artillery during the counter-terrorist operation led to dramatic uh, losses in our army. We still haven't built it as we want, but then it was much, much weaker. So in order to save their puppet projects, they counterattacked and provided support to these people republics, Luhansk and Donetsk. So what happened then? Our President Poroshenko signed Minsk agreements you probably heard about. So it's were about giving peace to Ukraine to avoid the final, let's say, demolition of Ukrainian army, and cruel, completely faceless hybrid war started. Unlike Russians, we agree that the actions of Ukrainian army led to civil casualties because a lot of separatists used living districts to shot at our positions and we responded. So basically, it's a very tough case for our country. It's an internal conflict and we will solve it. We will we will ask people to forgive us, and we will, let's say, investigate every single case in order to find what happened. However, Russia used these 6 years to bump their people, I mean regular Russians, with the idea that we are beasts, we are Nazis, we are killing own people, we do not treat the lives of civil people. And partially it's true because it's a war. From another side, it's false shared by Russian propaganda. As you can see right now in Western media area, let's say in Western medias on 9gag, whatever else, there are a lot of bots, and they work very slowly, very in a low level because they do not speak English. They cannot explain everything. In Russian medias where people from East were watching, they can say whatever they want, and everyone will believe. So, long story short, again, I can talk about this for hours. I love history. Let's talk about Donbass escalation. So, as you may know, our people elected another president, Mr. Vladimir Zelensky. He is a former comedian, and he's not such experienced, let's say, diplomat as previous president. However, Putin continued to push to diplomatically execute Minsk agreements to, let's say, integrate these people republics inside of Ukraine to avoid joining NATO, joining European Union, and just control Ukraine. He started to push with troops. He surrounded our borders with a lot of troops. You can see them, how they're going, all these columns with troops, with technique, and we are trying to destroy it. So, of course, Western countries like France, like Germany, started to press on Zelensky because, let's be honest, yes, it's difficult to worry 8 years about another country. They are worried about economics, about support of people, and we understand this, but of course we weren't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant to us at all. So in 2022, Putin decided to recognize people republics. and kind of protect them. Um, on February 24th at 5 a.m. in Ukraine, started rocket attacks on airfields to destroy our aircrafts, military bases, troops positions, and they Putin claimed it's not a war, it's not a conflict. They just want to protect people republics, and that's all. Thanks God, we were warned by USA and MI6 intelligence, and we didn't lost planes on our fields. We lost them in air, but not on fields. And thanks God, we were warned that they are going to start this operation. So, what is happening today? The map is pretty the same. So what is happening today at on March 2nd, 2022? This map is a little bit incorrect because it shows like Russian troops are gaining territories, but it's not exact true because they d they don't have enough people to put heavy zones to control the territory. They're just moving towards the huge cities. Some cities are in siege, like Kharkiv, like Chernihiv, like Sumy, like Kherson, etc. You can find their names in even on 9gag. You can see what's happening, and they planned to finish it in 2 days. It's their official plans that we got from our intelligence, from Western intelligence, and they unfortunately didn't do this. So we didn't see Russian tanks in Kiev in 2 days as they promised, and this war started. So first of all, I'd like to emphasize a couple of things. Regular Russian troops try to not harm civilians. It changes because they have no food, no water, and they're pissed by civilian resistance. However, they try to not do this, but they have saboteur groups. They're trying to reach Kiev to ruin its defense, and these people are not. They don't have Russian army form uniform. They are dressed like us, and we have a lot of markers in Ukrainian. They cannot just spell it, and we use it to find them. What happening? Our defenders are still standing strong, and they have incredible high moral. After the first, let's say, after the lack of success, we can see it right now, and I think it will just increase in time. Putin gave a command to start massive artillery, rocket, and bombs use in order to frighten Ukrainian people, Ukrainian government, to give him an ability to solve it quickly. Because again, it's probably a question of another video, yes, what is going to happen in Russia internally. However, he is right now bombing Kharkiv especially. Probably you saw these footages, you saw how it's happening, and it's crazy. For us, it's crazy. And the problem is not his bombing cities. The problem is that he still says to his internal, to his population, it's just a peacekeeping operation. It's not a war. He's not bombing civil people. If he's bombing, it's just because our troops are inside cities. But today I saw footages how Su-25, this is Russian. Oh my God, I cannot remember this word. Russian plane, he's just dropping bombs on living districts with no doubt. It's awful. So why Ukraine stands right now? What is going on? Why it happens? Russia is so powerful. Russia has so good army. The first thing is that our army has extremely wide experience of fighting in hybrid war on Donbass. So it means a lot of experience of fighting in cities, in on their own territory, on their own land. Thanks God, thanks, and I will never skip this. I always say thank you to all Western partners, we received a lot of high-tech defense weapons like javelins, NLAW, Stingers, Bayraktars, etc. Right now, the help of Western countries only increases, but in any case, I think it's one of the most important factors. Thirdly, we have high-class experienced generals that were working on Donbass all this time. We have over-motivated soldiers that see all this seeing all these war crimes in Ukrainian cities, and it doesn't make them dismoralized. It only burns. It only, let's say, it only strengthens their internal wrath. So, and another important thing that maybe in the future you will explore, investigate, it's Maidan's period. So, as you probably see on different footages, every single normal Ukrainian is trying to do what he can for own country, own army, own success in this war. Starting from small girls that are doing Molotov cocktails, or as we call it, Bandera smoothie, up to all elder people who are giving all their pension to army. What happens with Russia army? Why haven't they achieved their goals? First of all, as you can see from footages, they have outdated and bad weapons. So they have rockets that hit living houses instead of aircraft field. They have outdated ground techniques, and as you can see in Bucha, for example, we just crush it as hell. And of course, absence of local support. Whatever Russia propaganda says, the number of Russia supporters decreased from 40% to 1% just in one day. Russia has no local support. Despite the fact they have conquered quite big territory in Ukraine, only 3 small cities were captured because of people that because of betrayals. And we don't forget about weak logistic decision. They thought they will quickly conquer Ukraine, and they sent a lot of young soldiers. 19, 20, 22. These people have no combat experience. They have low moral, and we got too many people, let's say, in our that we capture. There are too many people. There are too many. I don't know. We will already ask ourselves how we're going to feed them. So it's too early to tell about our long-term strategy, and I'm not a part of our government, of our parties, whatever else. I just tell you as a local people that suffers in this war what we want to do. First of all, of course, we want to defeat this Russian invasion troops. I have no idea how much time it would take. Honestly, I think months to finally destroy all this war machine. We want to, of course, reconquer our territories that were captured in 2014. It means Lugansk, Donetsk, and Crimea. We want to help relevant reparations under the control of European Union and United States to avoid corruption as well, and to show that we are not monsters. And of course, this is very simple thing. We want to isolate Russia from Ukraine and forget forever about them. We don't want to have any connections with this country. We don't want to kill their civilians. We don't want to kill all Russians. We don't want to burn their country. No, just go home, pay us for what you did, and please stay away from our country. This is my personal joke, yes. As I say, we want to build a 20-meter concrete wall around Russian borders, make 2 holes for pipelines to make Europe happy. And if you're very kind, you can send them bananas by helicopters and do whatever you want with these people. Um, Another thing is very important to me to describe, to emphasize, and to tell to all people in European. So if you are watching this video and you have, for example, relatives in government and you're not sure regarding our position, what we want from European Union, I want to make it clear from a position of a regular civilian citizen here in Ukraine. We are proving right now that we are part of civilized world. We are not a third party country. Yes, we have issues, but we want to work on them. We want to have quickly the clear status of a candidate to join European Union, because it will lead that your governments, some of them are quicker, some of them are slower, will give us clear list of requirements to join European Union. And it means that even if we have any issues with Zelensky after war, right now, I just want to make a clear statement. I didn't support him, but right now he's a leader. He's an icon of Ukrainian people. So, in any case, after the war, we would like to become partners for European Union countries. Continue integration, become military partner for countries that may help us to build not only our military industry. No, we also want to use this reparation to build education system, infrastructure, healthcare. We want to build everything we can to become more wealth and to replace basically the market of Russia for European Union. So, and also I was joking that Cossacks, people that lived here in Ukraine, were famous mercenaries in 15th, 17th century, and we helped a lot of countries to defend their borders. And we are ready to become the shield of Europe. We are ready to be a people that will defend Europe. And as you can see, we can do it very effectively. So risks that a common European citizen may think about, and it's normal, is that tolerance and issues with, I don't know, give me a second, I will drink a little bit of tea. Tolerance and how we are doing with European standards. I'm not going to lie, our traditions are more about Poland. We are very similar to Polish and Czech people. We are tolerant with every person that respects our country, that works here, and if they respect us, we respect them. This is the reason why we have no issues with national minorities, with migrants, etc. Because people here need to work. They cannot just receive social packages. Corruption. The second important thing, and I won't lie, it's famous, at least in Ukraine, that every single Ukrainian is against corruption but wants his relatives to help him if something happens. And we understand it's a huge problem. For people that don't know us, I cannot convince you, but I can tell you for sure, this war will change our society. And I think a lot of people will have zero tolerance to corruption. But again, let's see how it goes. Migrants. You have right now thousands of children, women, sometimes men that are in your countries. First of all, when everything finishes, we are not going to stay there. Most of us. I'm sure some people may try to do this, but legally. And we always integrate into society of the country where we live. I don't think any single European or United States citizen can tell that we are not civilized. We do not work inside of the country. We stay waiting for some social guarantees, packages, etc. So if some of us stay in the European Union, believe me, you would be happy about this. So another important thing is to how to help right now. This video is not about donating some money to me. Thank you. I have everything right now. I have everything I need right now. If you want to help with $5, €5, you can send it to our official accounts of Stay Alive or National Bank of Ukraine that was opened for Ukrainian army. The next thing is to share this video with people that want more information about Ukraine, about the origins, etc. Be careful with sources of information. The situation in Russia shows that if you do not filter the information, you may become zombie. Control your governments. It means that we don't ask you to to spend your time on communication with government. Just watch them. Yes, if they are trying to help us, if it's okay for you, because I understand this sanctions will harm European economy, but at least I ask you to do this. It depends only on you. And the last thing is live your life. Please enjoy it. I slept for 4 hours a day because I couldn't do it more. There was no bombing in my city. But I couldn't enjoy my life, and I cannot do it right now. Enjoy, please. Walk, drink coffee, dance with your wives or husbands, play with your children. Do it while we are fighting for our freedom, because if you live your life, you would be able to help us. That's all what we ask right now. When I will post this video on YouTube, I will share official accounts, so no donating. Thank you so much. I don't want to become a streamer. I have a profession, at least classic profession. I'm a little bit old for mm, mm, wanting to work as a streamer. I'm terribly sorry for my voice. Thank you so much for watching this video, for being here. Even a couple of people is more than I expected. I thank everyone that helped us, from sending money to sending humanitarian help, Israeli medics that joined our guys to help injured people, even if Israeli government doesn't support us. Everyone. I know that politics and governments are not people, and we thank to everyone. Just remember, a lot of Ukrainians don't speak English. They cannot express their appreciation. I try to do this on 9gag instead of all Ukrainians. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting Ukraine, and I hope this video would help you to understand everything about us.